New jerseys, new players, and the team's 50th anniversary, what more hype could you need? Hi guys, I'm Braxton and welcome to Brutally Honest, where we cover all things Milwaukee Brewers. Today, I'm going to be counting down the top 5 things that I'm excited for in the 2020 season. Now, 2019 was an interesting season to say the least, so let's dig into what to look forward in 2020. Real quick, I just want to thank you all for visiting the channel, and if you could hit that like and subscribe button out of the park, it would be greatly appreciated. Coming in at number 5 would be our new addition. So obviously Milwaukee's roster has undergone a lot of changes this year, with 13 of the 25 players that were on our wildcard roster now being gone. Rather than re-signing players, it appears that the Brewers have elected to go to free agency and trades in order to fill these holes. Now the crew has mixed it up between some major and some minor additions to the team, so I'm just going to list some of the most that I'm excited for. First of all, Omar Narvaez appears to be a great replacement for arguably the best catcher in the game right now, Yasmani Grandal. In 2019, Narvaez hit .278 with 22 home runs, 55 RBIs, and an OPS of .813. To put that into perspective, Grandal hit .246 with 28 home runs, 77 RBIs, and an OPS of .848. Offensively, Narvaez is going to replace Grandal's production, especially when you consider he will be hitting at Miller Park, which should provide a boost to his numbers. The scare with Narvaez is his defense. He did commit 6 errors last season, and his framing isn't even in the same league as Yasmani Grandal. It'll be interesting to see if Narvaez can properly handle the Brewers' pitching staff, who can be shaky at times. Grandal did a great job with that, but I would expect veteran Manny Pena to step up and help out where needed. Overall, Narvaez should fit right into Milwaukee's lineup and should replace the production that we lost in Grandal. Another acquisition to be excited about is Avisail Garcia. Garcia is coming over from Tampa Bay, where he hit .282 with 20 home runs, 72 RBIs, and an OPS of .796. While signing Garcia makes the outfield a little crowded with Kane, Yelich, and Braun already filling those positions, I think it's a great move by the crew. While Braun is coming off a pretty decent year, his age is catching up with him. In all of 2019, they worked at scheduling off days for him to avoid any injuries. I believe this is how the Brewers will proceed with Kane as well, who also had an injury-riddled 2019 season. While Yelich should be 100% ready to go on opening day, having an extra high-quality outfielder to fill in these gaps is a great move in terms of depth. The Brewers are going to be able to flexibly put different outfielders into the roster and maybe even move Braun over to first base every so often. I don't think Braun will be used at first base very often because came out and said that he doesn't feel very comfortable over there. However, I think this will keep his bat in the lineup more often. Finally, the Josh Lindblom signing should have all fans hopeful. Lindblom is coming over from the KBO League, which is the same place we found the buried treasure of Eric Thames. Lindblom won both the top pitcher and MVP awards in the KBO this past season, and it seems as though he found his command, which he previously struggled with in a few major league stints earlier in the decade. Lindblom showed that he can miss bats, not walk batters, but also limited opponents to weak numbers in terms of hard hit rates and exit velocity. So, although Lindblom is a bit of a risk going into his age 33 season, he still has the potential to be a front-of-the-line starter that Milwaukee desperately needs. Coming in at number 4 on the list is the return of a possibly dominant bullpen. Last season, we saw Counsell have to finesse the bullpen usage based on some inconsistent players and only having one really trustable guy in Josh Hader. However, in 2020, Knebel will be returning at some early point in the season, and while there's no guarantee with the guy coming off Tommy John surgery, if Knebel can fire that upper 90s fastball like he was in 2018, I would expect great things to come. It'll be interesting to see where Counsell decides to use Suter this year, as he was great at eating up large chunks of innings out of the bullpen last season for that great September push that they had. Another notable bullpen arm, I think, is Ray Black, who, after being acquired at the trade deadline, showed some great signs of being electric out of the pen. I know Black doesn't have the best track record and still has some wrinkles to work out. However, he has shown potential. Finally, I think Freddie Peralta is going to be a great weapon for us out of the bullpen this season. Peralta's 5.29 ERA really ballooned from a handful of terrible starts where he proved he could not perform. His ERA was 7.07 as a starter, but that drops to 4.01 out of the pen. Give Peralta another full year and his development should only progress as he is only 23 years old and his confidence out of the bullpen should be much higher. That brings us to number 3 on the list and a hopefully injury-free season for Brandon Woodruff. Not only did he propel the Brewers past the Cubs in Game 163, he also pitched 2 perfect innings with 4 strikeouts in Game 1 of the NLCS. Not to mention, he went deep off Clayton Kershaw to tie up the game. So not only is Woodruff a great arm to have in the starting rotation, he also can be used as a pinch hitter early in the game. Since 2018, Woodruff has emerged as the Brewers' #1 guy as he maintained a 3.62 ERA in 22 starts with a whip of 1.14 and 143 strikeouts in 2019. Woodruff was an all-star and was among league leaders in strikeouts before straining his oblique in July, which ended up keeping him out of the rotation until mid-September. A full season of Woodruff being the anchor of the rotation is exactly what the crew needs, and based on his trends in the past few years, that seems very possible. Coming in at number 2 on the list is number 22, and that's Yelich having another dominant year at the plate. Obviously, everyone is aware of Yelich's production, and it seems like he's just hitting his prime. Yelich had another MVP-type season in 2019, and he was going to blow all of his numbers out of the water until he suffered that injury. Despite missing the last 3 games of the year, Yelich still hit 8 more home runs, had 8 more stolen bases, batted for a higher average and OPS, and walked more than he did in 2018, his MVP season. He basically put up video game numbers in 2019 and made the MVP voting a coin toss despite missing the last 3 weeks of the season. If Yelich can stay healthy in 2020, we should expect him to be an MVP candidate once again. Now, before I reveal the #1 thing that Brewers fans should be excited for in 2020, here are a few quick honorable mentions. New jerseys. How can this be overlooked? The crew put a new spin on their old ball and glove logo, and despite some mixed views by the public, the players have said it themselves. They love to wear pinstripes. I think the jerseys will provide a fresh look for the team and create some new energy around the club. The final honorable mention is the acquisition of Luis Urias. Urias is still very young and is thought of by most as still being a prospect, so what does he add to the team? Competition at shortstop. The 2020 season will give us an answer on how the team wants to proceed with Orlando Arcia. Urias is either going to motivate Arcia to play to his potential, or Urias will take his spot and we will have another young player to watch develop. It's even possible Urias slides over to third base where the crew hasn't completely filled the loss of Moustakas. Now, the #1 thing that Brewers fans should be excited for come 2020. Keston Hiura is going to have a breakout season. The numbers in 2019 were just great. He had 19 home runs at the major league level, 19 home runs in the minors, so 38 overall on the year. That's a great season. At the major league level, Hiura hit for .303 with a .938 OPS and stole 9 bags for the crew. Based on his patterns of improving as he settles in, similar to what he did in college ball and in the minors, Hiura improved his numbers after his rookie season. While not all the numbers support Hiura having a stronger season in 2020, the kid has proven he can hit the ball hard. Hiura's BABIP was unusually high, which means the balls he was putting into play were falling for hits more than the league average. This can be scary because it is possible that Hiura's hits were finding holes in 2019, but that number could regress as fielders adjust their positioning. However, Hiura posted really strong exit velocity numbers. I mean, the ball seemed to just jump off of his bat. While strikeouts have been a problem for the young slugger, he has shown that he is willing to hit the ball where it's pitched, and he has incredible opposite field power. I would expect that with a full season of major league coaching, he'll be able to cut down on his number of strikeouts and do what he does best and mash the ball. While Hiura struggled in the field this past season, it's important to note that his time spent at second base has been fairly brief. Hiura's arm strength will never be impressive, but I would expect that with more experience, he will iron out his difficulties with the glove and shouldn't be a liability in the field. He'll hopefully just be an average second baseman. Either way, 2020 will be a defining year for Hiura, and he will have the opportunity to prove that he is a big league slugger. So that's my top 5 list of what Brewers fans should be excited for come 2020. Leave some comments below. Tell me what you agree with, what you disagree with, what you're excited for in the upcoming months. Please hit that subscribe button, that like button. It goes a long way in growing the channel and it's very much appreciated, and it'll help you stay up to date with Brewers content. So until next time, Brewers fans, keep that anticipation going. Spring training is right around the corner. Keep relieving.